Hello, Buddhas! Today we are going to talk about my personal experiences working for the fruit company. You might be wondering, what's the fruit company? It's one of those fruits that fell on Newton and apparently is the Garden of Eden fruit, but there's actually no proof of that ever happening. But it's a very specific fruit, and they make very specific products that require lots and lots and lots of help from employees to the general public in order to use, because the people who buy those products either know exactly what they're doing or absolutely nothing, and it's an incredible place, actually. Now that I've got that weird kind of roundabout segue out of the way, I worked for many years as tech support and eventually became a genius working for the fruit company. And this was the absolute single greatest place for me to practice using the law of attraction. Because I can tell you this, unequivocally speaking, if I went into a shift with a bad attitude and I approached my customers with, "Hi, how can I help you?" blah, then I would have the worst effing day imaginable. However, if I came in and I came up to my customers like, "Hi, my name's Alex, how can I help you?" I would have the single greatest interactions every single time I was helping people. And bringing it to another level, sometimes I would even have multiple people having multiple interactions over the course of multiple hours where they were all astounded at how incredibly good I was at my job. And I don't mean to say that to toot a horn here, I mean to say that my attitude reflected immediately in my surroundings. So if I would go into work and I would feel like today is going to be a good day, then I would know subconsciously, because I didn't understand the law of attraction at the time, but I would know that I was on a roll and was going to have good times. However, if I had a bad attitude myself and was grumpy about the way that people had been treating me, or if someone said something that bothered me and I was letting the outside world affect me, then people would yell at me, people would swear at me, people would be aggressive, people would call in the managers. It was a bad time. And I quickly figured that out. So a majority of my time there was spent in very positive ways. And again, the reason I bring this up in this context onto this channel is that it didn't matter what the problem that the people were coming to me with was. That's the real key here. The people who were coming in for my help, or help in general, but ended up getting helped by me, their issue was not the problem. Their attitude was not the problem. Their monetary qualms, their anger towards the company, their happiness towards the company was not reflected by the physical situation that they were in. It would manifest and then be presented to me, but the real beast, the real negativity, the real devil that I had to fight with in those interactions was indeed myself. And I began to subconsciously realize this, and I was able to tune my way of being to the best benefit of all. Because at the end of the day, what does the employer want? They want happy customers, which means that they're spending money or buying new things, etc. Or not having to, but also being happy at the end of the day. So they'll spend money later. They don't want PO'd customers who never want to come back to this company ever again. Like, those are the two extremes, and one is what they want and one is not what they want. When I approached it as just humbly being there to help people, taking myself out of the equation about how I felt about it, but having a good attitude overall, I could be represented with someone or presented with someone who can have a completely and utterly destroyed piece of fruit, and I could present them with the absolute worst news on the planet, which is just, you're going to have to buy a new one because you broke it. Customers don't like hearing that, usually. And the response that I would get would be 100% dictated by my attitude and the way that I was selling the situation. If I was going in with an attitude of, this sucks, sorry to see this, you're gonna have to pay a bunch of money, then it would either be kind of meh, never buying an Apple product again, goodbye, or it would be, you're the worst customer experience ever, go away. I'm leaving. Call me a manager. However, same situations. If I were to present that with, look, I'm going to try to do everything that I can in my power to actually resolve this issue for you, but we're going to have to look at some alternatives in case that's not the option, or we're going to have to figure something out here, and I came at it with like very working with the customer approach and having a positive attitude, which was always the key, then 9 times out of 10 it would turn into them joyously, maybe not joyously, but at least not begrudgingly, making the purchase that they had in order to get their life back together. Again, remember, in this context, it's not necessarily about haranguing a client for money, because we weren't on commission, but a lot of these people needed these products for either school or work or life in general, and they would make the decisions that would get them a working device rather than not having one most of the time. And it would always come down to the attitude. And the absolute best part about this would be, at the end of the day, we had a review system. And in this review system, clients would be given a survey after their appointment with us, and they would have the opportunity to rank us on a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 being terrible and 5 being absolutely fantastic. And there was a solid point in my career where I had the single greatest amount of reviews, the single greatest amount of 5-star reviews, and the single greatest amount of comments, like paragraph-long comments of people extolling my fabulous service. And I look back on that now, again, not tooting horns here, but just objectively, these are facts that happened in my life. Why those things happened was entirely because of the approach that I took and how I was inadvertently using the law of attraction to manifest clients that were at my level. It wasn't that there would be no clients in the store on those days that had a bad time. Actually, there would be. But it would actually turn out more fun than that. We would be randomly assigned our next clients. That's how the system worked, so for fairness, etc. And I would get the clients that were jiving with me, and so would everyone else. So if I was jiving in a high-flying disc and having a really good time, then the clients I was with, regardless of the situation, right, would be jiving along with me. And that energy is contagious, and it would spread along the bar, and there'd be more people that'd be listening in and be interested in what's going on. And it would be a genuinely beneficial situation for everyone involved. So Buddhas, what I'm trying to get to here with this fairly long and convoluted story is that your attitude that you take at work will result in exactly the result that you get at work. And you can apply this to anything, but the example here is specifically the workplace. So let me know in the comments down below if there's any time where you have had positive attitudes and seen that reflected to you, or negative attitudes even, and how that has been reflected to you, and I'm happy to answer every single question that you've got. So, remember, Buddhas, at the end of the day, the most important thing is to love yourself.